with that being said, I just did 22 years in prison as well, right? And so when I hear about the 22, it just gave me goosebumps and a reminder that squat and cough, KK. So that's a deterrent.
Hold on. I'm about to add Queen of Money Magnet to the stage. That's the one who actually started the
oh man,
real welfare check outside of this, without behind the scenes stuff, not in front of the camera, not in front of but behind the scenes.
No
so
doubt.
Bring her up now. Queen of Money Magnet, aka Miss Nicole Smith. Yeah, this is a Joseph P. Lincoln. This is another brother who does tremendous work. Y'all can talk to each other. I like letting people talk.
I love it. Hello. I was watching for just a second while I was finishing up the other call, but you guys are so amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging it. That takes us a long way, believe it or not. For the most part, a lot of us was failures before we went to prison. I can speak for myself. I definitely was considered a failure, right? So to be able to muster up the strength after being locked up in cages for decades and come out here and put our life on display, and for people like you to acknowledge it, it may seem like nothing, but believe it or not, we really thrive on that as well. We do need the love and the support, because it just pushes us to another level, So thank you.
No, thank you. I can only say thank you because you guys are the leaders. Like, I've always learned from a man. I was raised by a single mother. I was it was 5 kids. All of us have different fathers, and we had a lot of stepsisters and brothers that are also raised with us. But at the end of the day, I learned my education from men. My mentors, my number one people that I listen to on a day-to-day basis is men, because my father was in and out of prison my entire life. He was almost a product of the three strikes rule that Clinton and Biden and a few other people wrote back in the early 90s. So if he would have gone to jail one more time, no matter what it would have been that he went to jail for, he would have been gone my entire life. So I've had that fear forever. So I've always clung to men who show power, who show leadership, who show experience. The experience matters to me. If you cannot tell me something, if you haven't either been through it or saved people from it. So I want to thank y'all for everything that y'all do. And like you said, I'm Queen of Money Magnet, the Real Welfare Check. Unity in Motion was about coming together to discuss these conversations that we usually don't have, to shed light, to show individuals and business owners and entrepreneurs of our color that, yeah, we've been through the obstacles. Yeah, we've been up under the mud. And guess what happens with things that's been in the mud, that's been loved and also taken care of and also had to learn how to survive? They sprout. They come out, they become trees, they become flowers and plants and vegetables and fruits that people need to continue to grow with.
Yes, indeed.
So, in order for us to come together, we got to share our stories. We have to be here on these platforms. We have to show these people we're live in the flesh. Sometimes we wear suits, sometimes we wear hoodies. We do what we need to do, but at the end of the day, we're all here together.
Yes.
We've been through traumatic experiences, but we've overcome those and we're still going through them. I don't care how rich people are. They're going through something. I work with a lot of rich people and they go through a lot, because it's not about the money. It's about our welfare. It's about how we feel, how we think, and how we perceive things, and being able to share those perceptions so that people can understand that it's okay to have different perceptions. It's okay to have different experiences. And at the end of the day, we got to come together to overcome those.
Yeah.
So thank you again, brother.
I agree with the KK. That was beautifully said. Sounded like me from a woman's point of view.
So it's crazy because no, I gotta say that because she does so much, man, and even as a reminder to me as well. You know what I mean? It's like I do a bunch, but that checking, right? Checking on someone's welfare and making sure they were right is so important, because those of us who have been through 20 for your 22 years in prison, me 25 years in prison, and those who haven't been in prison, those who just been going through hardships throughout life, you know, Queen Money Mac came on before and said, you have teenage mothers, young girl who have children struggling to work, take care of her babies, and go to school at the same time, like working school babies. You know what I mean? And then still trying to come up with ways to make sure that the family is good, that they're doing it in a proper way. So a lot of times, like us, that check-in, I mean, is important. You know, just going, how you feeling today, or what's going on, and even to that point, if we don't know, actually giving a person measures, certain things that they can do to overcome the obstacles, whatever that may come before them. One of the things that the word we just mentioned, and I don't know if you heard it, was I wanted to go on was a deterrent. So certain things weren't deterrents for us, right? Certain things, like we was exposed to so much, but there wasn't the that voice on the other side, or really a consequence saying, bro, listen, don't get involved in this for this particular reason, because sometimes you do have to explain it to people, right? For this particular reason. And now it happens, a person to get into something, it's like, damn, it's too late. Because, like, with our situations in prison, those who went to prison, it took 2 minutes, if that, sometimes. You know what I mean, for a situation to take place, and then out of them 2 minutes, now you got 20 years, you got 30 years of doing prison based off of 2 minutes of not, thinking, 2 minutes of not taking into account your surroundings or what's going on, or the people that you're actually dealing with. So it's like, how do we actually combat that? You know what I mean, what deterrent are we putting in front of us? And when I say deterrent, what preventive measures are we actually taking to avoid these situations?
So I'll tell you the before and after, but I'll go with the
Yeah.
after first for myself. After prison, 22 years of incarceration, day for day, is my main deterrent right now. Knowing that I can't do another 10, 20, 30 years in prison, right? So I try to use that every day, because there's every day something goes on in the life of a person who was formerly incarcerated. It could be an argument, it could be a fight, it could be anything. Mistaken identity can get you back incarcerated, right? So I try to use work ethic as one deterrent, because I know if I'm making money, I don't have to commit a crime, right? You know what I mean? That's what most people commit crimes for, because they financially depressed and discouraged. So they commit a crime, which take 2 minutes, like you said, to get 20 years. So now, before prison, I really had no deterrence, right? Because you would think me seeing everybody come back from prison from my neighborhood all swole and been, going in with a young man's face and come out with a, old man's waist, you know what I'm saying? And then you should think that will be a repetitive vision in your mind, but it's not. So I think it's only when you go through something, or somebody go through something close to you, that you can envision that it can happen to you as well. And hopefully the stories that we tell, that after, the after stories of the
So
25, the 22s, the 30 years, that our voice is a reason to these people out here who may not have somebody that can be a deterrent for them. Hopefully our stories will make them understand that 20 years is a long time. You know what I mean?
crazy, because what you was going into is the psychological impact, right? Because that's
Yeah,
also a part of a deterrent or taking preventive measures. It's the psychological impact, right?
yeah,
So
for
the
sure.
psychological impact, what that does is it's supposed to want to push you away, right?
Yeah.
But at
Hmm.
times, when you see, like you said, you see the guy that's come home and he's swole, whatever.
Hmm.
Look, you see all the admiration that he's getting,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
People is coming to him with gifts, people showing him mad love and
yeah, yeah,
respect, like, yo, bro, just
yeah,
came home, yo, da da da
yeah,
da.
yeah,
So
yeah,
now that's not even becoming a deterrent, because you have someone that'll see this
yeah.
and like, damn, I
That's
don't get that.
love.
I don't, yeah, that's love. I don't get that particular attention, right? And now, go ahead, I'll let you go. You raise your hand. Go ahead.
I just I just wanted to add the fact that I love what you said. But what happens is out here in the streets, because I've I'm not really big on the knocking on wood and everything, but I ain't never got locked up for
Hmm.
nothing.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
not even like a petty crime.
Hmm.
And when you see certain type of men that come out, or even women, they don't usually come out with a story of, oh, I did 20 years, don't do this. They come out with that ego. They come out with like, I'm the stuff. And
Yeah.
they usually, if they got right back into what they was doing, or even if they never let it go, because I know people in jail that's still running it up.
Yes. Yes. So do
You know
I.
what I'm saying? So when they
Me
get
too.
out, that perception is not what's being portrayed. So that's why the youth, or even, I'm 33, people my age, they're infatuated with people that did a lot of time in jail, because they think that, oh, you did time in jail, you hard, so I could do that too.
Mm,
And that's just my perception on my side of never
mm-hmm.
being in jail, but always being on the streets and always hanging out with the people who are being influenced by these men. When these dudes be getting out of jail, I personally don't know a guy that got out of jail and struggled. I don't.
And struggled.
And struggled.
You met one now.
Hello. And I bet you after we meet, you won't be struggling anymore. But it will be a different type of story and a different type of, uh, quote unquote, flex. Because the flex now is, oh, I did, and I'm not using this because of KK and all, but like, it's like, oh, I did 20 years and I'm good. I got out, I got this because my people around me handled this and I ran it. I'm the boss. That's
Yeah.
the perception that these young people are getting. So they're not seeing the real consequence. They're not like how me. I get at least five or more calls a day from people in jail. And I promise, if I'm lying, like, my life can end right now. But I get these phone calls, and the amount of things that I have to do for these people to help them, the conversations that I have to have with them, these young people don't know about that. They don't know that some nights they don't eat. They don't know that if they, they think that it's like, oh, okay, I give me a free cot and some free food, but they don't know that some nights you ain't gonna do that. You ain't gonna get that.
You're
Somebody above
absolutely
you
right.
that might be sleeping above you might attack you, and now you got to deal with that type of situation. Now you gotta survive inside of here on a
Mm-hmm.
slower timeline. If people ever
Yeah.
seen these movies, and they see how people warp into other timelines, it'd be like, oh, you live 20 years in this timeline, but this person only lived two.
Mm-hmm.
But it was within the same time,
Mm-hmm.
because I was in two different places with two different experiences.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
But when a lot of guys that get out of prison, when they get out here, they don't show or tell the real of what happened. They
Oh,
had those shows
right.
back in the days that worked a little bit with not Jerry, but Mari, when he would bring
Scared straight.
the
Yeah.
yeah, the guys
Yeah.
out to talk
Yeah.
to the young boys and
Yeah.
do and break them down. They
Yeah.
don't have that for
Yeah.
real like that no more.
Yeah.
Scared beyond. They don't really have stuff like that because it's too real.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we have the real welfare check, because it's real.
Yeah.
Y'all get to tell us for real. I didn't personally get into a lot of crime stuff and all that because I was gonna lose my father. I'm a little
Mm.
girl. My father's everything to me, still to this day.
Mm.
At 33, if my daddy walked up right now, I would, Daddy, I'd be like, hey guys, I gotta go.
Yeah. For sure.
And I'm sure 90% of men would do the same thing if their daddy was there for them and
Mm-hmm.
talk to them, or even they OGs would
Mm-hmm.
talk to them and tell them, but in reality, they using these little kids like pawns.
Mm-hmm. I
So
keep it
the
real with
smaller
them though.
percent of us gotta just be louder.
Yeah.
Yeah, you absolutely right, and I was I was somebody like I was guilty of that, right, and I understand as far as the not saying what's going on, right, for a long time in prison because I felt I had to hold my emotion, I had to guard it and protect it with everything, right, and in a sense it made me worse, right, until I started to understand that. So even when I would call home, right, it would be more like me checking on what's going on outside. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And like, yo, I got this. Yo, I'm good. Boom, boom. Yeah, what's going on out there? Blah, blah, blah. And they used to even be like, yo, damn man, you be calling me. You don't even sound like a dude in jail. Boom, boom. And because I never used to focus on or speak about what I was going through. You know what I'm saying? Like not wanting to go to the mess hall, right? Even though you go to eat, but not really want to go there at all because every time you go to the mess hall, it was always something going on. They dropping gas, they pulling people out of the line, throwing guys on the wall, right? Something may jump off. If you jump off, they make everybody get on the floor. You go through a whole bunch of nonsense, right? Even going through the line, you may get into a situation with somebody on the line because they ain't putting, yo, bro, put some food on there. Da, 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 they lay a lot of things, but it used to be so much stuff going on. Like I stopped, literally, me personally, like I stopped going to the prison mess hall. Like I stayed in my cell, and whatever I had to eat, I ate in my cell. You know what I'm saying? Like from commissary packages, whatever, like I would get, like I stayed in my cell and ate it because it was the environment was so toxic. Right. And you would come out your cell sometime, and this is how it really do. You would come out your cell and not knowing if you even gonna make it back to make it back to your cell.
That's a
Right.
fact.
Whether you get dragged off to the box, right? Or you go, or you may end up in a hospital, packed up, go sweat, or you may lose your life. Right.
Yeah.
Or
And this
even
is
think about like this.
how serious things were. You know, and having to deal with that, excuse me, having to deal with that, um, a lot of times there is no hiding from it, right? There is no hiding from it. Right? You have to face it. This is also like it's got a few people I spoke to out here about that. Like, you know, some of the things that look in hindsight, looking back that I kind of appreciated in a sense, because ain't no running away from your demons.
Mhm.
Ain't no running away from it. Either you're gonna face it, or if it's a thing or a person or a situation, you're gonna face it when you come out yourself, or you have to face yourself, right? Or you have to face yourself when you're sitting in that cell.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Right. And a lot of people can't handle that. A lot of people can't handle in there being alone because they'll be in their cell, they'll get on the gate and be screaming, talking to everybody, trying to get into every conversation, or just wanting to be, you know, not be quiet and sit in the cell and deal with their own thoughts and issues that they got to, you know what I'm saying, that they got to confront.
Yeah,
So
that's a fact.
it's in I want to say enlightening, but it's compelling. Right? It's compelling on so many levels, to an individual. You know, and a lot of time, like with the people don't understand going in who ain't want to go to prison or go through this, it's like it makes you make a decision. You're gonna have to make a decision. Ain't no standing around, ain't no waiting. Boom, you gotta make a decision. What you gonna do? You gonna stand up, all right? You gonna face what you got to face, or you gonna fold. That's it. Oh, that's it.
That's a fact, man. I just wanted to add on to that, to the sister. Like when I got out of prison, I was transparent. I'm talking about I went to a shelter. I put my posters up. I sold my books, shirts. I came home during the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know
Oh,
anything about nothing out here besides what I knew when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying?
life changed then.
Yeah, but what didn't change that I was dedicated and motivated to change in my situation. So for me personally, I came home. I had $300. You know what I'm saying? And that was 3 years ago. And I published a book with it, started a business with it, all with the little $300 I had. I didn't even know what I was doing, but I did it. And so I said to say this when I tell my story about how I came home. Um, it's all documented on the internet because I share it every day. I didn't mind telling people, yo, this is what happened when you do 22 bullets in the joint and you come home to nothing. And I went to prison for robbing banks. So I'm supposed to have, what you would think, right? Um,
Right.
but all that time I did wasn't even worth the crime. So I try to give it to people like that, show vulnerability. It's because a lot of times a lot of us think we're tougher than what we really are until we get in a tough situation. You know what I'm saying? And then you realize, like, damn, I ain't really that tough. And what I mean by
Right.
that, like, I don't know nobody in prison who want to sit in there. They all want to get, all the tough guys want to get out. And all the people who aren't there wants to go in. So it just really baffles me. But for me personally, I definitely showed that transparency, that vulnerability. I had nothing to hide, nothing to lose, because I did stand on my feet during my time. But of course, I did 20 years with a lot of tears. You know what I'm saying? And I want people to know that you're gonna have a lot of tears. You
I
know.
want you to drop your link. I want you to drop your link for your book
I got
in
you.
the chat because
Okay.
I wanna read it. I'll
For
grab it.
sure.
I'll grab your
For
book,
sure.
and I think
I,
everybody else should grab the book. If
yeah.
even if you don't read the book, I recommend you read the book. But if not, at least you could do is support the brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I also want to add to that as well that with talking to a lot of guys in jail,
hmm
I get a lot of information, and I've seen guys that can't even mourn their parents that they lost because of how whatever going on. I'm not there. I'm not there. Y'all been there before. So I'm not there in jail, but whatever it is that these people are experiencing, they can't even show their emotions. I've watched people lose their mother, their father, they siblings, and they be like, "Queen, I just need to talk to you for a few minutes because after these few minutes, I can't cry. I can't do this." So imagine the pent up hurt that's there as well. The people you lose while you're there.
It's
People don't
crazy.
talk about that.
Oh man, we should have Moshe up here for that. My brother Moshe, he lost a lot
Yeah,
in there, man.
he lost.
You know,
Man, my bro lost a lot of
and that's real
in it.
talk right there, which is KK's co-host, right? I know him since we was kids, and when you hear his story of the things he lost and the people he lost along the way, is a reminder that life is short, right? And he'll do anything to get his family back, man. So, big shout outs to Moshe Canty, man, for
Yeah,
for
big
for
shout out to my
standing
right.
strong. And instead of running to a gun, he ran to God. So we got to give him big props because he could have ran to a
Yes.
gun, a knife, to the gang, to the bear, the henny,
So
but he ran to the community.
you know it's crazy because just to bring bring the topic back to the thing with deterrence.
Yeah.
A lot of times the ones that's supposed to be there, right? They get they become watered down. So the deterrents become a little the effectiveness of it changes. So now it becomes a little harder. Now it's like, damn, I gotta I gotta get burnt. I don't gotta feel the heat no more. That's not even a deterrent no more
Yeah.
because it ain't
Right.
effective. Now
Right.
my hand got to burn, right? My hand got to burn, and that's what prison end up doing. Like brothers, like who do all this time and who's in there because they start to lose things that are precious to them, right? They start to realize what's more important, right? When you get humiliated and you get into a position where you're basically powerless, right?
Mm,
You're powerless. Um, you get front of say going on a visit, and I told my people this, and there's some individuals who won't even go on a visit, right, because of this,
yeah.
right? That
Yeah.
every time, like say you go see someone in prison, right? After the visit, they strip search us,
hmm
right? And that shit is
hmm
humiliating.
Yes, it is.
Yep. I heard about
Swatting
that.
cough,
It is
open your butt cheeks.
right. They literally lift your lift your genitals, spread your
Yeah.
cheeks,
Let me see inside of it.
lift your feet, wiggle your toes, put your arms up, ears. Let me see, but like what do you can't see
Under your
behind my
tongue.
ears. Put
And,
behind your
and just
ears.
imagine as an outside person, I was a child, my father, my mother, and my man. I gotta hear these stories. That's traumatic for myself to even think about. That's what my people going through. So that's
And
why it's good that it's like y'all been through it personally, but look how it affects the people that is around you as well. I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm so scared. Like even to this day, I'm so scared. I be like, no, don't do this, don't do that. To my friends, no, y'all got to think about it. You don't want to be in jail. Like I talk to my kids seriously. Like this is what will happen if you do this. But other people don't. They don't get a chance to talk to their kids about that. They don't know about those warnings.
don't. Yeah, no, they don't. And even mentioning it, right? Listen, I used to go on a lot of visits, right? But there's times you go and you go into like this place in your head, right? Whereas you don't feel. You don't feel. You just go through the motion, right? Sometimes, if depending on the day or the visit, however it go down, you may feel a little snappish. You start saying some smart shit back to or whatever because you really don't want to go through it, but you know you're gonna go through it because you know you just came from the visit. You want to make it back to your cell or whatever, right? So we go through it and we make it seem like
It's nothing.
it's nothing and it's normal, but really that shit is stabbing and cutting and hurting you every single time, every
Word.
single time, right?
Word.
And it's crazy because it's crazy because the more knowledge you obtain, the more you realize how inhuman and how abnormal you're living, right? And
What? And you
how
make it seem normal.
yeah, and how you're accepting these particular things. It was a quote George Jackson said on his books, right? And he was like, "The sane people are in the box, right?" And that's what I never understand. That he's like, but because once you regain your sanity for real and you stand up for real, you're not gonna go for none of that. You're not
Yeah.
strip searching me. You're not coming in here saying and doing whatever you want to me because I'm a man, right? And literally that takes away from you when you allow this stuff to happen to you, right? And it's crazy because towards the end of my sentence, right, I was getting closer to see my parole board. Like certain things switched in my head, and I was at the point where I didn't know when it was gonna happen, but I just felt it was gonna happen, right? When I come off a visit one of these days, or they just come and want to search me one of these days, and I'm just gonna say no, I'm not. We not doing it. You know what I mean? And it's to go through years and years of this is like it's traumatic, bro. You know what I'm saying?
We traumatized.
Yeah,
We are
it's
traumatized. And what you saying, I'm not sure about you. For me, since I've been out of prison, I've been working like since I've been out, like a job and stuff like that.
mhm,
And I actually work, home health care, like, what I'm saying? And it, that's something probably they probably would think twice of giving somebody like that, coming out of prison. But I had some good references, and I've been working there for two years now. And
nice.
so I deal with people every day, elders, what I'm saying? So I learned admiration, right? And that's also a deterrent for me as well, because I think about the people that I'm taking care of, and probably 20, 30 years, somebody might have to take care of me, right? So things like that keep me in a space of living like a civilian, right? So once you become a civilian, and what I mean by civilian, we know and understand civilians usually pay bills, usually work a job, come home, take care of their family, take care, the basic things that people love about life, right? And when you strip away the criminal mind out of that, right? Guess what happens? You become an IE person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I was able to do. Don't get it twisted. I'm from Brooklyn, and I've been doing criminal stuff my whole life. So how can you just stop doing one thing and just leave it like that? No, you gotta take one bad thing and replace it with something good. So I took away the thugism, selling crack on the corner, drugs, robbing banks, and things like that, and I replaced it with a job. At least I know I get a check. I'm guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? I can pay my little car, my little phone. So I live for those things now. I'm very patient. So just knowing once again the consequences and what happens with time is definitely a deterrent. But I also try to tell people like herself who's never been to prison or jail or anything like that, but she's seen many people who has, right? You know what I mean? So it's easy to say it from me being an older person. In retrospect, I would do this and I would do that, right? But we have to keep in mind these young dudes aren't really being convinced by a bunch of old people coming out of jail talk about jail, right? You have to really be doing something, you know what I'm saying, in terms of
Yeah, they
leaving
gotta
like that.
the proof has to be there. So that's what I mean about the when I say with these deterrents with some of the effectiveness, because even seeing something good doesn't necessarily have to be bad, but seeing someone successful, right, is a deterrent because you can see the
Yeah,
success of this individual. Like, damn, he don't want to do this. He his family, yeah, cool. He going on trips. He's doing that, and he ain't into nothing. He ain't doing none of this foul stuff, right?
in
And then you
facts.
look at this person, it's like, damn, he done. to this. He's, he done lost family. He beefing with this person. He in and out of jail. He ain't even got
Mm-hmm.
no proper insurance. He ain't even got, and you start weighing and balancing. But now this also starts to become a deterrent too. But it has to be put in people's faces sometimes. Like they have to see it, because one of the things that having a proper deterrent does is it automatically puts you into like societal order, right? It automatically does that, because now it's like, all right, I don't want this, so that means I'm gonna have to do what's necessary to take care of me and my family, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and you just did it. You fell right into the societal norms, even though I'm from here, right? You put that in like, oh, I'm from here, da, da, da. And okay, we know these particular things. We know what it is to suffer and beat through the mud. But now that we actually had effective deterrents or things that
Mm-hmm.
showed us different lights, or give
Mm-hmm.
you options, that's like, all right, damn, this is the way I have to go now. How can
Mm-hmm.
I move on this particular side so I don't have to be in a position of being powerless, right? Of having to succumb to being dehumanized, right, and being treated less than a man. You know what I mean? And not being there for my family to do what? Only to sink even lower, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because now when we're in that condition, what happens? We a lot of times we sink lower because we ain't even taking the effectiveness, or we ain't being deterred from nothing. So now I'm in here already. I'm already being dehumanized, violated, and disrespected, whatever. So you know what? I'm gonna dehumanize, violate, and disrespect everybody else. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I'm just do whatever I gotta do. I mean, to hustle, sell drugs, bang, do all this stuff, right? But now it becomes, all of these things become self-destructive, because these methods, for one, are not effective to me, right? Or I even became so numb to them, or ignorant or ignorant to the actual signs that's being shown to me, that I totally ignore them. And when you do that, I mean, you get pulled even deeper. Unbeknownst to a lot of us, like we get pulled even deeper, so deep to a fact to, as like subconsciously, like we're getting hit, and not realizing it. We look up, we got all these damn wounds, and we bleeding from everywhere, wondering, damn, how the hell, damn, how I'm gonna survive? You know,
This is
yeah,
spiritual right here, man.
yeah, man. You in here, man. We locked in, man. Make sure you hit that like button, man. Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe, man. We on, like I told you, we come up here, man. Like the first half is done. The second half, I want to anybody that actually want to come up, want to share something, man. Need some advice on anything, man. Got something they want to get off their chest, man. Please, I'm gonna put the link in the chat. So if you want to pop up, man, you know what I'm saying, just go right ahead, man. The pen.
I tried to put something in the chat, but wouldn't let me do it. So
Yeah,
yeah, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know if this because it's my new phone. I don't know, but I just tried to do it. But I definitely want you to talk to the queen, and when you get a chance, send her a link, behind the scenes to the book and things like
yeah,
that. I'll send it to you, later on and stuff like that. But yo, this is a great topic, man. And I want to say for the people out there, people realize the average person, average. I don't speak about all prisoners, right? Because all prisoners do not have the same experience in there, right? Some come out better, some come out worse, right? But for the ones who do come out better, it's like a spiritual experience, man. Because if you remove a human out the jungle, right, guess what happens? They become human again. Even though we was in the jungles in prison, but we had solitude in themselves. When that door closed, I'm by myself in segregation. I gotta make sure that I keep my sanity, my mental capacity, and my fortitude strong, right? So it's real that I want people to just understand that prison is man, it's horrible, man. It's horrible. There's nothing good about it, I haven't smiled one picture when I was in prison. Not one picture have I ever smiled in a prison photo. When I came home, I just can't stop smiling now. So that goes that goes to show us how effective it is. It is designed to, keep you down.
yeah. Yeah, it definitely is, man. And everybody that's out there, man, like please, man. One of the reasons for discussion is not just just talking just for the sake of talking, man, but
No.
for individuals to actually grab onto certain keys and gems, man. And I like to share some of them inside of there. It's to give just give some clarity, man. And one of them. one of them, like we talking about, is the deterrent thing. You know what I'm saying, what is your deterrent, man? You know what I'm saying, you have to see that. What keeps you free? You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? What you know what I'm saying?
mm,
What's your passion that pushes you and propels you to move forward every day, or to even do the things that you do on a day-to-day basis? Why? You know what I'm saying? Ask yourself these questions. You know what I'm
There you
saying?
go.
You know what I
That's
mean?
the way we ask it in the business. What's your
that's a
why?
great question.
Yeah.
What's your why?
Yeah,
What keeps you going?
it keeps you going.
And
That's deep.
ironically, that's why I love having these conversations with people who've had the experience, and in which somehow my list of inmates keep growing from the conversations that we have, because I want to know from them, what was your why and what is your why now?
Mm, that's deep. That's a good one. That's perspective.
You know, it's you know what I say, man. A lot of times, you know, you get forced to it, right? Because I used to always tell people when I used to act tough. I used to front. I'm like, all right, sometimes dudes got to be humble, right? That's how I used
Hmm.
to. In that sense, I used to say that. All right, sometimes he may need a humbler. Who know what it is? But in reality, that's really it. Do be that some people really need to be shown, right, themselves, right? And
Hmm.
you really need to be shown themselves what they look like with, like, in their behavior, in their spaces, or how they going out their day-to-day life. Like, oh, bro, you wasted like 6 7 hours doing nothing, right? Like, what? Like, look, let's add it. So you got you went, you sat out, you did this, you did that, right? From this time to that time, you did this. From this time to that time, you did it. And none of that benefited you in nothing whatsoever, nor was it any service to anyone else,
And what
right?
we call that in the business world is an ROI,
ROI. What is that?
Return
return
on
on your
investment.
investment.
Oh, return on your. Oh, okay.
Return on
I'm
investment.
still learning the words, the WYDs and the
There
Yeah,
you
TYs. You know
go.
what I'm
There you
saying?
go. Jot that down. Jot
yeah.
that down.
Drop
Oh,
that.
actually, I
Yo,
need to write that down.
So no, for real. And if, as you can see, Kev, everything is the same. The way that the streets is ran from the business world is just how it's being presented to the
it's just
different
how it's being presented. Yeah.
people who, how they gonna perceive it. So as leaders in our community on both the business side and the actual community side, we
So she did.
know that these
All right, there
people
she go.
need to be talked to in a way that they understand.
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah,
I'm not going to ask, like, when I'm talking to drug dealers or whatever in the neighborhood, it's like, okay, well, you invest this and then you get this back. This is what the same thing of this is in the business world.
yeah.
But these are the liabilities. See, that's something that's not talked about when people are saying, oh, yeah, you can make hundreds of $1,000s. Oh, you can do this. Oh, you free, you that. You can hang out up at the store all day. But what are my liabilities? And I'm not talking financial.
Yeah, and
Jail,
that,
My time
shot,
in jail, I can get shot, robbed.
robbed.
I got a female that's scamming me, whether it's a female or a male. Somebody's playing on you in a way that you don't
the
need to be
dangers
played
of your
on.
customer base, the dangers of the people that you're actually dealing with, what you're actually doing to your neighborhood, you're actually taking the value of it down, what you're actually doing to
The
yourself.
average drug
Um,
dealer really
then on
these
top of that,
days only make minimum wage.
Yeah.
it's crazy, right? Um, I don't know what average was, but I remember when I first started, right? Remember, I went to prison when I was 16 years old. I wasn't, making but I started making some bread, right? 'Cause I actually started selling weight, right, at 16, which is like above you person just selling nickels or dimes on the corner, right? So, but when I was selling nickels and dimes on the corner, I looked at it. I used to sit in the bottom thinking, like, how much do I make? I probably make like $300-400 a day, right? Which is like a great job, right? If in the real
Hmm.
world, that's a great job, right?
Yeah.
But the difference is, right, the back end, right? And this is something that my wife used to always, so she works in the hospital. How a dude to come in there shot or anything, you ain't got no insurance, you ain't got nothing, you ain't got anything, right? Because your drug money ain't gonna pay for none of that. Right? Even homes, vehicles. It's just so much things that pulls you in deeper and deeper in that world where you don't really be financially stable, right? Whereas if it's gone, it's gone.
It's gone.
That's it. You know what I mean? There's no, no policies. There's no going, going to court, filing something to make sure your money's there. There is none of that. There is no credit. There is none of that. You make a move, you lose it. That's it.
That's it.
And
It's
then
a
the
wrap.
risk, and then the risk be so high. All the other risks be so high, and it's like, I'm getting this fast money, but and just like even now, I tell individuals who I encounter, right? Like, bro, what's your end game? Really, what's your end game, bro? You gonna stay in it till you go to prison or you die, right? Or a bunch of people around you die, then you start feeling like, oh man, I can't take it. Right? You snatch it, you
Or
get,
you get too old
or
and
you get too old,
and you out of whack. You're
yeah, or
not
you get put in
even
a position, or you get put into a position where you can't handle, right? And now they talking, 100 years, right? Natural life, whatever. And then now you gonna basically lose your integrity and telling everybody and their mama, right? Because you
yeah.
couldn't handle it. Like, what is, and this is the thing, what is your end game? What are
Yeah.
what are you trying to do? And some of the things that was pointed to me when I was young, or what I seen and was shown was some of the elders was still in that phase of teaching some things that people did that, or guys hustled, whatever, to better their situation and their family situation, to get out of certain circumstances. So now, all right, you're in it. Boom. Once you're out of those particular circumstances, now what?
Man.
Now
Right.
what?
Yeah.
What, what,
And see,
what
that's why it's important for you guys to get more involved in the youth programs. And I'm not saying like involved as in like go sign up and be in this. Go out there and do it yourself. I'm
yeah,
so big on our leaders, which are y'all. Y'all, the leaders who lead in this world is not the ones who we identify with because they put us in a project. And within a project, they realize that there's always going to be some hustlers, whether it's good or bad. There's going to be some that's educated. And it's going to be some that's going to be able to be like, hey, us small group of educated hustlers can get the rest of the people to do what we need them to do
yeah,
by
yeah,
sharing our stories. Because if you ever been to school and know it sales, people understand your story before they will understand a commercial.
That's a fact.
People love to buy, but they hate being sold to.
yeah.
So you rather hear from a person that was 220 pounds and now 160? Or would you rather hear from somebody that's 120 that ain't never been that trying to tell you what to do?
Got a major point there.
Yeah.
Major
And
point.
y'all got the story. Y'all have the experience.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't go about it the same way as everybody else because then you're gonna fall in line and get ignored like everybody else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
That's why.
hang
Yeah.
out at the same gas stations that I've been hanging out in since 2010. Before, when I was sleeping in the car, they didn't even know I was sleeping at the car in the car at that gas station. That's why I was there so much. They didn't know that. They thought
Yeah.
I was just there always selling stuff and telling them stuff. But in reality, I was sleeping there. But a few years later, when I got that 47 square foot house, 4,700 square foot house,
That's big.
and I was driving the BMWs and doing everything, and I'm like, oh yeah, I used to sleep here. Yeah, that car I was sitting in, yeah, I was sleeping here. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
when I was talking to you, I was sleeping here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more impactful.
Yeah, way more. It's a measuring stick.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
And
what they
like you
need.
said, KK, when you have that experience, you're gonna be able to deliver it different.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to see you in no suit trying to tell them what to do. That you can teach them how to get in a suit 2, 3 weeks down the line once they start trusting you.
Yeah.
But in order for us to get the message out there, in order for us to have them in really checking in, I ain't even gonna lie. The way these kids moving nowadays, and I don't even mean kids as in young age. I'm literally saying like 33-year-old men, as far as kids, women, as far as kids, because we're still kids because we weren't taught. I come from the millennial generation.
Yeah.
We weren't taught, we just experienced everything and had to figure it out. But the advantage that we have now is that we have the data. We have proof from the timeline on the political side and from you guys' experience and from my experience and other people's experience that pick up the phone every time that it rings.
Yeah.
Everybody don't have somebody to pick up the phone every time.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody don't have somebody that can put money on their book so they can eat.
That's a
Everybody don't
fact.
have somebody they can call for 5 minutes and be able to just cry their heart out to because they lost everybody in their family that was the most important to them.
That's a fact.
And when, like you said, when you get out, when you got out, you might not have had those people that had your back, that throw some bread in your pocket, that put you on, that added you on trade lines. Because see, these are the things that I'm doing for people in jail. I'm adding them on my credit cards and boosting up their credit and helping them with starting up businesses and helping them with doing these different things. Because I'm like, if you making that kind of money, but you really ain't really seeing nothing, you might as well really see something.
Yeah, because like you know the game. Got 1 minute, use up, you spend it in the wrong way, do something wrong with it, da da da, give it away. The next thing got nothing, and then you go back to a council hustle because you figure I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna get that back again, so I ain't gotta worry. Spend it all, get it back, and once that cycle is obtained, it's hard to really get out of. And what happens, just like you're actually doing that, but people doing that, people actually saying like, all right, bro, you got what? All right, listen, this is what we're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Add you to this account, this up. We're gonna clean up your things, man. You know what I'm saying? So we can help set you up for a business or something. I mean, what particular skill set do you have, or what do you like doing? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're gonna turn that, we're gonna monetize that. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? We're gonna monetize that. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you like, so you can actually do something and provide for your family. Because majority of guys be having children, having families, but they be so stuck trying to figure things out. And it's like, all right, you talk this legacy stuff, right? Or family, family wealth and building this, but how are you actually going about doing it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like how? Because you can't trap. Trapping is not doing it. That's
You
not.
can't trap it. You gonna trap it till you get trapped.
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
that's not gonna do
run
it.
them numbers. Run a number. Running them
Yeah.
numbers will get them every single time, no matter who it is, where they are. If you run the numbers and you show them, I show I show inmates. Oh, you spent 30,000 on this lawyer. Oh, you spent 50,000 on this lawyer, but you only made 20,000 this year.
Mm.
You thought you made a lot because of 20,000, the way it was coming real quick in them
Yeah.
little 2 months. All right, but for the other months you wasn't making nothing because you were locked up.
Mm-hmm. Not
So
worth it.
now you robbing Peter to pay Paul. Your mama got to put a lien on her house. All these people now, that lien that could have been on that house from the jump. You could have your mama could have took that money out and bought 4 apartment complexes down the street. That would have funded everything, but she had to waste
Mm-hmm.
it on you.
That's all.
That's real talk right there.
Gosh.
That's
Y'all
real
could have had
talk
a
right there.
washer and dryer machines, all them down the street. You could have opened up your own Kroger,
Yeah.
I'm right about that. But you
but
know
she had
what
to
though,
use it on
sis?
a lawyer for you to not do nothing.
But you know
So
what?
that's what we gotta realize. Go ahead, bro.
But
Yeah.
Nas told us like the rap game somehow remind me of the crack game, right? And I listened to that when I was in prison, before prison, really in prison. I really listened to the words. And I sell candy in jail, uh, soups, 2 for $3. I always the person that had something going on in prison, right? To survive. And so I just brought that mentality out here, right? And the difference is now I sell books, right? I publish books and I sell them, and you can make a lot of money with your story, especially if you align yourself with the right people who's willing to help you tell the story, right? People like us, KK, if it wasn't for these YouTube platforms and stuff like that, or us bullying our way into the door, they wouldn't want us around because it's too raw and uncut. So when we talk about a village, people say, "Oh, it takes a village." That means you need the gang members. You need the mothers, the fathers. You need the thugs, the recovering
Everybody.
drug addicts. You need all of these people. That's the village. The people with the tattoos, all the this is the village, right? And this is where I kind of see all these different like deterrents for me is because I know I want to blaze a trail so I can show other people that's coming from where I come from exactly how I did it to stay free 3 years now, right?
Yeah.
Um, and that was keeping myself occupied and living in my purpose, right? And that's a constant deterrent for me, just knowing I don't want to fail again, you know.
Yeah, that's what we're asking people, man. What's your deterrent, man? We got one of the brothers who already answered G'd up Quinn. G'd up Quinn is up there, man. You tuned in, we locked in, man. You should hit that like button. Make sure you share, subscribe, do all that. Hit that super chat. But question is, man, what's your deterrent, man? What is your deterrent, man? What is keeping you, from going down the wrong path, man? You know what I'm saying? And
Mm,
actually to share this with others to hopefully it can help them. You know what I'm saying? Whatever tactics is used, like I know my brother and I got I know Moshe, he reminded me of this and I gotta start doing this more. Because that's going to the mosque more, right?
mm-hmm.
In
Right
certain
on.
time, like when you have some free time, you know what, you just shoot to the mosque, right? Just to get that good energy, man, prayer and whatever. Because as you evolve, obstacles become different. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
we
Mm-hmm.
have to find things that are deter from going down those things. Like times people that get greedy, dishonest, right? Lustful, just um, just being rude, or arrogance, all these particular five characteristics that I ain't doing this, I ain't in the criminal thing no more, but a person's character is still messed up,
Mm-hmm.
right? You still a foul individual. So it's like, all right, even though you ain't committing crime, but your
Yeah,
character,
you still
yeah, your character.
sour.
So that also applies to that as well, though. You know what I'm saying? What
Yeah, facts.
what deters you from that? Because now the ultimate goal is being a beneficial presence, right? That is the
Mm-hmm.
ultimate goal, being a beneficial presence, right? No matter where you at, no matter your situation, that is it. Because it's like Queen said earlier about liabilities. Like forget just your own liabilities, but you actually become a liability to others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And that is the thing that a lot of people do not look at. You become a liability, not just to yourself, but to
To
others.
others.
To others. Yes.
And that's what she was getting at when she was speaking about the family. And you spent 30,000 on an attorney, but you only made 20,000. So now, guess what? You got to lean on the same people that could have helped you. Before that situation happened. I think that's a logical way of seeing it, but I don't think a lot of us really have that education, especially coming up in poverty-stricken areas. We don't have that. The ability to exercise our mind outside of those prison walls inside the projects, right? You know what I mean?
Box
So
misplaced.
So
mm,
I want to. Oh, I want to add to that.
yeah, I just mean like what I learned in prison, I didn't learn in the streets. You know what I'm saying? So programming, things like that. We had options to do, but when you speak a language that people don't understand, and they're not willing to ask, hey, what that mean? Like how you told me, and so a lot of people would rather just ignore having the information and then choose to do some ignorant when they could just ask, hey, what do that mean? Right? So
Right.
coming up in the ghetto, I don't think we have a prison problem. I don't really think it's a prison problem, me personally, right? Because I know a lot of people who didn't go to prison, right? So it can't really be a prison problem, right? I think it's more educational problem and us knowing money, banking, the system from the embryonic stages of our existence from kids. Just like they indoctrinate us. At 2, 3 years old, I knew what a joint was. I knew what a bear
And,
was.
and see, that's exactly why I wanted to add what I was
Mm-hmm.
adding because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, when you become a parent,
Mm-hmm.
you have to make the decision to want to attract more for
Mm-hmm.
your family.
Yeah.
We many times I've noticed that people say, "Oh, this wasn't provided in my neighborhood. This wasn't provided in my community. This wasn't
Mm-hmm.
provided." And for a while, I was one of them people that say, "Oh, well, when I grew up, because when I grew up, I still have the same bank account I've had since I was in kindergarten. It was a
Damn.
program that started in my school.
Wow.
And I still have that bank account. They were the first people to give me my first loan ever, first credit card, first car, and they will be the first people to give me my first home.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to participate in that project because my mother took the
Mm,
time to come to the school
Mm-hmm.
to learn about the programs that we
Mm-hmm.
had,
Yeah.
because those pieces of paper, like my kids just came home with 5 new pieces of paper today on things that are going on this week, next week, and up and coming. But parents are so quote unquote overwhelmed. They're never too overwhelmed to be on Facebook, Instagram, and all the rest of these things. And back before it was Facebook and Instagram, I was sitting in the living room drinking and smoking with your friends that came over, because
watching
I'm
somebody.
33, and my
Yeah.
mom and her friends were in the room. So while they were in that room, instead of them discussing, hey, what is going on at the school, what's going on in the school boards, many of the funding opportunities have been lost. And this is over the years because our parents were not there, because there are programs that have been put into place for years. And I checked myself, even in DeKalb County, and I'm down here in Atlanta. I'm not from Atlanta, I'm from St. Louis, where we like murder capital. So
Yeah. I know about the
again,
look.
I'm not with the excuses, because I come from the slums and we had those things available, and a lot of our schools do have these things available. But what happens is our parents are not involved enough. They just canceled a multi-million dollar project over in my kids county right now that they made available for 4 months, because there were not enough people that enrolled. But I'm pretty sure there wasn't enough people that got that piece of paper when they went home, because everybody, kids don't come home excited with the paper like, hey mom, look at this, because they're not excited when they come home, because there's nothing to be excited to.
Mm.
Mm,
You're right. Yeah.
And our
You're right.
parents have to hold that accountability. But again, I know it's the government. They've done what they've done. But we've been in an era for the last 20 years of you seek and you find. I bet you they knew when their man was cheating. I bet you they knew when their girl was cheating. I bet you they knew who baby mama wasn't they baby daddies and
bet
stuff.
you they know who got that gas.
Yeah,
I
they know
bet
who
you
got
they
the
know who
gas.
got everything. But they did not take the time to say, well, what's available for my kid to not be in this position. They never took that time to look in the mirror and hold themselves accountable. And that's what we as leaders have to do. Our kings have to do that more so than our women, because real women gonna follow regardless. And when I say real women, I mean people that know what it is. I don't care how much
Mm-hmm.
these girls get on here, get these BBLs, get these breasts, get whatever it is that they need. At the end of the day, they're doing all of that because they think that's what a man wants. It's all about unity. It's all about how things work in the ecosystem. And at the end of the day, a man is always going to lead. A woman is going to produce.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the experiences, we got to hold ourselves accountable.
So
No doubt.
And we got to be strategic with how we do it. We know what
yeah,
we're dealing with now.
yeah.
Right now, we're dealing with brainwashing. We're dealing with people that can say all these excuses. But we got to come with the same thing they want. If, oh, y'all like rap, y'all like drill, guess what? We're going to add a little rap and a little drill, and we're going to say what we got to say in the middle of that.
That's a
Oh, you
fact.
like to kill? What if you got killed? What if your family member got killed?
Yeah.
Why you ain't got no
Facts.
life insurance? Oh, you rap about having all these necklaces, but you ain't got no life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we got to really hold them accountable on their level of understanding.
Mm-hmm.
I tell every drug dealer in my neighborhood, I wish I would see you selling drugs on my neighborhood, in my neighborhood, and Mrs. Elaine ain't got no air conditioner or no heater in her house.
Yeah.
I wish you would. I wish you would.
Mm.
That's real.
Oh,
That's
her
real
grass
talk.
ain't cut. Oh, you couldn't pay little John to go pay her to cut her grass, so he ain't got to be over here trying to step on your trap.
This is your hood.
How you let them white folks buy the house? And no offense to white people, because them my investors. I ain't even gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. They put money behind what I got.
I
But
rock
ain't no
with I
way in the
rock with
world
all
you
colors.
telling me that it's 20 houses in your neighborhood for less than $10,000 because they owe taxes and you ain't bought it.
Mm.
But you got veneers. How you got new teeth and your neighborhood dirty?
Man. That's logical though. What you're saying though, like it's
But
funny
that's
too. But
see before we wrap it up, right? I would say to do. It becomes the brother had mentioned something. And I kept thinking about it though too. Was talking about this perception thing, and
yeah, you talking about a brim, wise brim?
yeah,
I
but
see.
no,
I see.
but I had thought that though a while ago. And there was a book. I love this book because we were talking about this book yesterday, right? Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. We was actually talking about that book, right?
We was
But one
talking
of the
about
things it goes in there, it talks. The first things it started going to is about perception, right? And in perception, they give you two pictures, right? It's the same exact picture, right? Right? But they tell you the wording is different. So
Mm-hmm.
they'll say this and this one to say that. So
Mm-hmm.
according to your perception, upbringing, or whatever, you'll look at that picture in a total different way. And you'll say, I think it's an old lady and a young woman, right?
I was just gonna
One
say that.
person say it's a young lady, one person to say it's an old woman, right? And they did this in school, mind you. The test was done in a classroom, a college classroom at first, right? So I'm just looking at the level of education there, and then of course the level of education in the street, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how the levels of perception being, and not just that, how opinion based, right?
Yeah.
Because now people start feeling like their opinion is the fact and truth.
Facts.
Only thing opinion is just your perception of a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, that's it. It's not
Perception
a
of a
fact.
thing does not
But
make it
you
true,
always gotta
right?
respect people's perception as
But you
well.
do respect
Yeah,
people's
yeah,
perception,
because
right?
that's their
Not
facts.
yeah.
That's their facts. That's their reality.
Exactly.
But the thing is though, having an objective mind, an open mind, and being able to see both sides, right? Because that's where you want to be at. You don't want to be stuck in here and you only see this one way. And a
Yeah,
lot of times when we come up, we get stuck and we only see this one way, right?
no
Where we
doubt.
can get to a conversation and I may be giving you good criticism because I love you and want to see you improve and be better, but you're taking it as me being disrespectful to you,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
then
yeah.
being that you're taking it as me being disrespectful to you, you put up a wall and you get defensive, right? So this is where that bad perception plays in that because now I'm trying to give you a good advice. I'm trying to help you come out your situation, but being that your perception of what I'm saying to you, right? Is taken, you're looking at it negatively. Your opinion of it is wrong. You ain't even gonna be able to get the information. You ain't gonna be able to benefit yourself because you don't put up a wall. You don't shut me out really, right? And then so now you're not even gonna take in the information. And so now go back to what happened in the classroom in the college thing when the professor presented this, he gave it to one side and gave it to the other side, right? Told them this was that. He told them this was this, right? And they exchanged it. Let them look for a minute. They was arguing with each other for hours.
Mm.
They did it in my college class in
Bro, they was
psychology.
arguing with each other like crazy. Nah, you can't see this. This is this. I'm telling you, like, nah, this is that. You maybe had like two or three people who
Mm.
could see
I've
both.
seen it the same.
Right?
Remember the blue dress and the gold dress?
Yeah.
Yeah, the blue dress. Yeah, I remember that. They
So
did that at your school.
They did that in my psychology class.
They even did that with the little girls in that experiment with the white dolls and the black dolls. Remember that?
Yes.
so now listen, but this shows you though, and this is what everybody that's watching is listening, man, this shows you just about perception, right? Always being willing to listen to the other person because they can show you something different. All right.
Yeah,
They can show
that's
you
a
something
fact.
different and can help you out of your situation, all right?
And
Because
that's
now
a
this
good
is
way
just
to
a picture.
also say it though, too, KK. When people
Uh,
are like when you're talking to somebody or you're listening to somebody, words matter. Trigger words matter. I learned that in counseling. I always say, oh, you know what? I can see that from your perception. Have you ever thought about it like this? Or what if it, can you see it like this as well?
uh,
How you communicate with people matters as well. That's why it takes special people to be leaders.
No doubt.
uh,
ROI.
yeah. So any
Return
this
on
is
I like
investment.
that.
ROI. So there's some parting words from both of y'all before we get out of here. Whoever
You
one of
know
y'all go
me. I'm
first.
always expand your mind to match your goals. So your goals don't shrink to match your mind.
No doubt. I have a saying, work until that shit work, right? And and what I mean by that, keep working until something happens, right? And by the time you look up, something will happen. So be consistent. And that's what I would like to tell people out there, man. It's working to it work, man.
Yeah. All right, but I listen. I appreciate y'all.
No
I
doubt.
appreciate everybody that's in the comments in the chat, man. Those that did
No
hit that
doubt.
like button, that share, subscribe. I appreciate all of y'all. One of the things, so we say, man, watch this, rewatch this, look at it, because there's going to be things that you may have missed, things that you can pick up, because this is about mindset growing. This is about taking care of the welfare of the people. This is really about for you to do introspection on yourself, right? From individuals who went through it, right? Salute,
No
my brother,
doubt.
salute, bro. From
No
individuals that
doubt.
actually overcame a whole lot of emotional trauma, a whole lot of emotional obstacles, and actually still growing, right?
Yeah.
So what we want to see the people do: continue to grow,
That's it.
continue to grow. Life is about progression. Progression is living, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Live,
Live.
live.
Live. Don't get that word twisted.
Oh,
Live.
you know what? I want to talk about that next week, y'all.
Hey, Queen, make sure
Living,
you on
Living.
Instagram,
living.
Queen. You on
All right.
Instagram? Follow me
Connect
on
with
Instagram,
Queen.
Queen.
Connect with Queen. Just like
Connect with
Emotional
that.
Queen.
Connect
intelligence.
with Queen
Love
on
that.
all platforms.
Wise been put up in 224, the name of the game, emotional intelligence. That's right. And that's what we want to bring y'all to. Not being a slave to your feelings, man. Oh, not being a slave to your feelings. Mm. And we are at.
Peace
Oh,
and
you got
love. Queen,
information.
stay in contact,
You
Queen.
got an Instagram. Give it an Instagram. Tell me Instagram. You can tell her right now.
Oh, it's my name right here, Joseph P. Langdon. I'll follow you back.
Joseph P.
Definitely want to
Langdon.
link up with you, Queen.
How's this
Joseph,
connect with the Queen?
connect with the
Just
Queen.
connect with Queen, not the.
Oh,
It's
oh,
just connect with Queen.
connect with Queen.
Connect.
Queen. Mons Kevin Ford, 1996. You
Mm.
already know. Hit us. Stay tuned. Keep banging. Love y'all.
Peace and love.
Yeah, we good.